long's the intro?
Thanks for listening to KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank. If you're thinking about starting a business or know someone who is, check out Emprise Bank's SBA loans. It's always good to know your options, and they can be your partner in possible.
What's going on? Andy Reid improves to 10-2 in season openers as the Kansas City Chiefs and their bid for a three-peat got off to a great start Thursday night with a 27-20 thriller over the Baltimore Ravens. And Peyton Hendershot, he earned his helmet sticker without even suiting up. We're going to break it all down today on 10 Things. I'm BJ Kissel, and welcome to 10 Things, presented by our friends over at Mission Taco Joint. When you're feeling tacos, call Mission Taco Joint. Good food, great people, multiple locations across Kansas City. We've partnered with them with the KCSN Foundation for our Feed It Forward program. We have served more than 5,000 meals since we launched that Feed It Forward program. And right now, with Mission Taco Joint and our friends over at Hope Faith Ministries Downtown Shelter, we provide tacos and meals once a month down there to the shelter. We appreciate Mission Taco Joint for not only sponsoring this program, being a partner of KCSN, but what they do to help us in the community as well. If you're feeling tacos, you want to swing by a Mission Taco Joint on Tuesdays, make sure to mention KCSN for 10% off. And yeah, appreciate everybody for hanging out. Appreciate everybody who's joining us live here on YouTube. Probably going to try to do these shows live as much as we can going forward throughout the season. Hopefully it can be interactive where I can answer questions and comments and bring up things that I miss with the 10 things that stand out to me from the Chiefs game. There's a lot to get to with the game last night. So let's get right into it with the Chiefs 27-20 win over the Ravens. I was actually at the game last night, and the atmosphere was crazy, especially with the rain beforehand. It was just a really, really special atmosphere, and not taking for granted the opportunity to go and watch them, unveil another banner with another logo with a Super Bowl championship on it. Chiefs fans can't take this for granted. We talk about it all the time. Probably hear me preaching about it all the time, but things like last night and what we did, being able to watch that happen, it's a special time. But the significance of the win last night for this first topic, NFL didn't do any favors for the Chiefs with the schedule. The opening game against the Ravens, obviously the game next week against the Bengals. And for me, the NFL wants a big marquee game to start the season. Understand that. Saw it with the Lions last year, and they made it to the NFC title. We knew they were going to be good. The Baltimore Ravens are going to be good. But part of me thinks the NFL wants parity. They want every team feeling like they have a chance. And when the Chiefs have been as dominant as they have, putting a tough schedule, the NFL wouldn't be upset if the Chiefs started 0-2, and then every other team in the AFC felt a little more confident about their ability. Hey, this is the year that we can knock them off. So for the Chiefs to go out there and take care of business the way that they did, and to basically overcome a lot of different things was pretty impressive to watch. You see the comments on social media once you get to a certain level as an organization. We saw it with the Patriots for a long time, and now the Chiefs said for a long time, please don't become Patriots fans with the way that they act. But now seeing how the rest of the NFL reacts to the success the Chiefs are having, even on 50-50 plays with penalties and people complaining about the refs and all this other crap, it just comes with the territory of being the team on top. And everybody's going to have thoughts on last night on some of the penalties, the roughing the passer, the Jawan Taylor versus Ronnie Stanley. Isaiah Likely's foot being out of bounds, but Lamar Jackson can't see. And then Peyton Hendershot earning his helmet sticker for going after Roquan Smith when he hit Patrick Mahomes late out of bounds, which honestly to me, Mahomes goes down. I'm glad he got in there and defended his guy, but I didn't think that was super dirty of a play. I think Roquan was running full speed out of bounds. Obviously got his hands on him because he's trying to put his hands on something in front of him, but didn't see him extend his arms. Didn't think it was dirty. It was a penalty, sure, but didn't think it was dirty. And whether they call a penalty or not on a 50-50, to me, play like that, it's easy for me to say. I'm not the one getting pushed. I'm the one standing in front, especially with the history of everything that has been said between the two teams and just the rivalry. But yeah, that one I didn't really understand, but I know there's going to be plenty of breakdowns on the Jawan Taylor lining up off sides, the false starts, and they called some on Ronnie Stanley. Obviously, Jawan Taylor, picked up where he left off last year with the penalties. But at the end of the day, Chiefs win, and one of the reasons that they won, one of the reasons they've been winning, Patrick Mahomes. And he made history. In the second quarter of last night's 27-20 win over the Ravens, Mahomes broke the Chiefs franchise record for career passing yards, besting Pro Football Hall of Fame quarterback, the late great Len Dawson, and his mark of 28,507 yards. I think it goes without saying that it's different eras of football, and nothing is going to take away from the legend that Len Dawson was and will always be here in Kansas City for what he was able to do and the numbers that he put up. But Patrick Mahomes is it, and this is a new game, and he is the best at this new game, and he's reinventing the way that people play quarterback. But Mahomes is now thrown for 28,715 yards in his career, ranking as the most passing yards in franchise history. With a 23-yard pass to longtime teammate Travis Kelce, Mahomes bested Dawson's mark in just 97 games as a member of the Chiefs. And with 291 yards on Thursday, Mahomes cracked the top 10 for passing yardage in a player's first 8 seasons in the league, with just one game under his belt for his 8th season. These are the stats that start to just get crazy. And we'll update these every week. And a lot of this is courtesy of the Chiefs PR department. Appreciate them and all the hard work that they have. Hi, Megan. But Patrick Mahomes, going to Travis Kelce, it's poetic that it was going to happen. And I actually remember the play, and it was one of it was the biggest play that Travis Kelce made in that game, the longest catch. He just finished with 34 yards. But one of the most impressive things about Patrick Mahomes, his ability to not only deliver the ball accurately and on a line outside the pocket, but he does it off platform. And the throw to Kelce is a great example. And I don't know if this is something that he works on. I don't know if this was a Bobby Stroop thing or if this is, the Chiefs type thing that have worked on him with this, but he's so good when he's outside the pocket and there's somebody coming at him or there's any kind of people around his feet where he'll just kind of jab step with his left foot and won't fully step into it, but still throws it on a line, is able to clear his hip, get some velocity on the ball. But he's so accurate with those throws, and the fact that he can deliver the ball all over the field, hit every spot without having to set his feet is what separates him from every other quarterback. And that even the throw to Kelce, where Kelce was open, a lot of NFL quarterbacks can make that throw, but not all of them can make that throw. And Patrick Mahomes makes that look very, very easy. One of the other things that looked very, very easy last night, moving on to number 3, was Rashee Rice. Chiefs offense, Rashee Rice is going to be that dude. And this is without Hollywood Brown. We don't know how that's going to happen when he gets in there, but Rashee Rice is threatening to take away Michael Thomas's nickname of Slant Boy because it could not be covered last night. And I don't know, and I'll leave this to smarter people at the KC Lab and all Matt Hamilton, all the guys that we have that break down the film throughout the week, the only weird games guys, when they're not off topic, breaking the stuff down and Sept gets into it. But the amount of man coverage, the amount of space that was created on those slants to Rashee Rice, I don't know if it's a formation, personnel grouping, or just you got him in the right look. And a couple of times I know he had linebackers lined up on him in those situations, and that's a pretty easy read for Patrick Mahomes in a one-on-one situation. Rashee Rice versus a linebacker, and you know a slant's coming. They're accurate throws, and then the yards after the catch, you know what he's going to do with it. So whether it was the design of the play or simply just our guy lining up and being better than the guy across from him, Rashee Rice was phenomenal last night, and he had an 11-yard reception for a first down to get the game going. And to start off the third quarter, Rice caught a 33-yard pass from Patrick Mahomes on a 3rd and 5. Rice had 103 receiving yards on 7 catches en route to the victory, bringing his career total to 300 receiving yards in the regular season. When you post in Rice 4 such games, a little bit of the stuff that outside, and I know that, and I was at the game, so I was just following kind of on social media about what was being said on the broadcast about Rashee Rice, and there were a couple comments about how his legal issues and how the Chiefs have benefited from that, and we know that once the legal process plays out, then the suspension will come. I think there were even reports saying it could happen next year. Pretty consistent for the NFL to do that, but at the same time, any families that, and this is not my thought, but I think it's a great point to bring up. And again, I don't know the dynamics, I don't know the legal repercussions of a lot of this stuff, but I can tell you that for me personally, when I heard the dynamics in play, or however you want to describe it, that if the NFL suspended Rashee Rice, he wouldn't play, he wouldn't make any money, he couldn't take that money and give it to the families that are going to get compensation for what he did and his legal issues. But if he's suspended, he can't make money, he can't pay them. So he's on the money to the that were affected for what he did. But at the same time, they're going to let the legal process play out, and there's going to be a consequence. When you do something dumb, there's going to be a consequence for it. But to think the Chiefs are getting some sort of benefit from it, I don't agree with. And the NFL is in a weird spot because if they want to help the family, they can't suspend him because they can't make money and they can't get money to the family. I'm sure there's a lot more dynamics to it, but I saw that out there a couple of months ago, and as I saw a lot of the comments about Rashee Rice when he starts making plays, nobody would have cared if he didn't go out and get 100 yards. But because he had 100 yards, then it gets discussed. But the other guy that's got to get discussed moving on, Xavier Worthy. Obviously, the 2 touchdowns, quite the debut for the Chiefs. And I saw a tweet this morning, actually, Tucker Franklin showed it to me. There was a picture of Patrick Mahomes and Xavier Worthy after the game, and just thanked the Buffalo Bills because the Chiefs were able to get both of those players that helped the Chiefs get the opening victory last night from draft picks that were traded with the Buffalo Bills. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes has been talked about a lot, but same thing with Xavier Worthy. They ended up with Keon Coleman, and friend of the network, and I give him a lot of flack on social media, but friends with Brett Coleman. But he was tweeting out about some of the jump balls that Keon Coleman may have gotten that Xavier Worthy couldn't. I think Xavier Worthy went and scored 2 touchdowns, and we let him know about it. But love you, Brett. But yeah, Xavier Worthy, that was the best debut that any Chiefs fan could have hoped for, and it was around 6 minutes left to play in the first quarter that Worthy scored his first NFL touchdown on that 21-yard run, capping off a 5-play, 67-yard scoring drive. Worthy scored the Chiefs' first touchdown of the 2024 season on his first touch of the game, his first NFL touch. He gets into the end zone, and we're sitting here in our office. I was talking to Maddie Lane earlier. We both agreed the most impressive thing about that for, a speed wide receiver, especially at the angle that I had in watching that play, it was kind of, he was running away from me, and I could kind of see what he was running into. And normally with plays the outside, especially those sweeps and stuff, speed guys, and there's a lot of congestion in the middle. You just see him kind of run to the outside and necessarily follow the blocks or, kind of try to run around it. And he didn't do that. He put his head down and ran right through it, followed his blocks, kind of saw it open up, and got the touchdown. And that was the most impressive part to me. It wasn't the physical, it wasn't the speed. It was the fact that you have a 170-pound or whatever he's listed at wide receiver that gets that ball in that moment and just puts his head down, runs right through it, and scores a touchdown. If he can do those types of things and stay within the way that the play is designed, this is going to be a crazy successful season for him. Again, this is without Hollywood Brown. We saw just what Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy could do with the Chiefs offense. Pacheco did his thing too. And this is with Travis Kelce only having 34 yards. So the Chiefs well-balanced. This is exactly what we were all hoping and talking about throughout the offseason with the Chiefs offense, specifically after the draft of getting Xavier Worthy with Hollywood Brown. Again, I'm hoping Hollywood Brown actually doesn't play against the Bengals, to be completely honest. Don't think we need to see him in that situation. I'd rather save him for the next time we place the Bengals, that they hadn't seen him yet, and I don't think we need him to beat them. And I'm very much in the save this for later in the season. Actually, one more thing about Patrick Mahomes that I thought was really fun was that after the game, when he was doing the post-game interview, he said that, it's obviously week 1, but home field advantage in the playoffs, all that, like there could be repercussions from that game that matter. And 5 years ago, Patrick Mahomes wouldn't have said one word about the playoffs after a week 1 game. And the Chiefs are just at that point now where he can just say, like, yeah, this is going to affect playoff seeding. And the Chiefs have 16 games left in the regular season, 17 weeks left in the NFL. So for this to be this assumption that the Chiefs know they're going to be good, no one's going to take it as disrespect, is pretty telling about where the Chiefs are in relation to the rest of the league. But going back to Xavier Worthy, he put the exclamation point on an 8-play, 70-yard scoring drive by hauling in a 35-yard touchdown pass from Mahomes, putting the Chiefs up 27-17 with over 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Worthy joins just 9 other Chiefs players in franchise history to have at least 1 receiving touchdown and 1 rushing touchdown in a single game in their rookie season. Running back Kareem Hunt is the only other Chiefs player to do so in their first NFL game. Pretty sure Kareem Hunt did that in New England in his opener that I remember, because the Patriots had won the Super Bowl. They did their whole unveiling and all their stuff, and it was way over the top. They had like 100-foot Lombardi trophies that were blown up that were brought out there. Mark Wahlberg did the intro. They had a whole thing. I remember that, but Kareem Hunt went off in that game. But Worthy finished his electric debut with 2 catches for 47 yards with a tutty and 1 carry for 21 yards and the other touchdown. So 2 touchdowns, including a touchdown on his first NFL touch. Pretty dang impressive. We're going to move on to number 5. I'm going to jump back to the tailgate that we had and talk a little bit about that. Appreciate our friends at Holiday Distillery and at Batchelor Family Farms, Brad and his wife, for coming out and providing burgers. We had drinks for everybody who stopped by. The Arrowheads Abroad guys, Brad and company, stepped by, and I had a chance to talk with them for about 30 minutes. And a beautiful thing about Chiefs fans, and I've known this for a long time because I've been doing content around the Chiefs for a long time, almost 15, 20 years. The coolest thing about the Chiefs space is that the content creators, all of us done this, we've all known each other for a long time. Everybody's cool. There's not a lot of just animosity or any just kind of like bitterness anywhere with a lot of it. And getting a chance to meet other Chiefs fans from other parts and just talk Chiefs and tell stories and all that was awesome. So it was great to see those guys. But we are going to be throwing another tailgate next week in the game against the Bengals. We're in Lot J, but we're kind of not we're like the suburb of the humongous Lot J tailgate. We're about 50 yards away from it. I think we're going to set up there in that area again next week. We've got a giant holiday KCSN tent. So if you're out at the Chiefs game next week, tailgating, and you're over in the Lot J area, over by Kaufman, anywhere on that side, come by, say hello, grab a drink, grab a burger, and we'll tell some stories. My family's going to be out there next week. And so, yeah, should be a lot of fun. Appreciate everybody that did stop by. And again, appreciate Holiday and Batchelor for being at the tailgate and for making it cool. It was very important yesterday at the tailgate to have the tent because it did start pouring down rain at one point, and we actually had the idea. I put out on social media a little video of us all crowded under the tent, and it was kind of fun. Anybody that was tailgating that was near their car got in their car. Everybody else found any tent they possibly could and just crammed as many people. So got to meet a lot of people, got to know a lot of people. We told everyone that you had to subscribe to KCSN or you couldn't stand out of the tent. We didn't do that. We said it, but we didn't enforce it. But we were going to try to inch along with the tent and just take it all the way to Arrowhead as like a giant umbrella for all of us, which we thought would be pretty cool. But yes, Chiefs Kelsey, this show is live and it's very much live. So we appreciate it. I am bringing up a lot of the comments right now, and we're going to see a couple things about the audio. So we'll make sure that we get that checked with old Tucker Franklin. But yeah, we're going to take a quick break right now. And when we come back, we're going to break down more about what stood out about the Chiefs win over the Baltimore Ravens.
We appreciate you supporting KC Sports Network by listening to our podcast. You have helped us become the highest ranked Chiefs podcast network in 2022 and 2023. And don't forget about our daily Substack newsletter, the best written analysis you can find on the Chiefs straight to your inbox every day. kcsn.substack.com.
You know when you discover a new binge-worthy show or a song that you bump on repeat and you have to share it with your friends so they can experience just how awesome it is? That's kind of what it feels like when you discover Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan. That's such an awesome deal, there's no way you can keep it to yourself. Friends don't let friends overpay for wireless. Say bye-bye to your overpriced wireless plan and switch to Mint Mobile. To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month premium wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/KCSN10. That's mintmobile.com/KCSN10. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/KCSN10. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details.
What's up? Welcome back to 10 Things here on KC Sports Network. I'm BJ Kissel. We appreciate you for hanging out, whether you're listening to the audio or whether you're watching live. We appreciate you joining us and getting a little Chiefs fix after their 27-20 opening game win over the Baltimore Ravens. And before we move on to number 6, we're going to throw a little honorable mention in here. Peyton Hendershot was tight end, picked up, hadn't even been here, I don't think, a week. And a lot of Chiefs fans probably don't know that name until last night when it was the situation on the sideline. Patrick Mahomes gets pushed out of bounds late from Roquan Smith. He put his hands on him, and the sideline of the Chiefs didn't appreciate it. And Peyton Hendershot went up, kind of pushed Roquan Smith from behind. And then after the game, Roquan Smith, during the post-game presser, basically said, like, I'll find him or something to that effect. And I just love the fact that a player that was in street clothes, hadn't been with the Chiefs for a week, jumps up and defends his guy when he gets pushed out of bounds. Peyton Hendershot earned his helmet sticker. Said it off top of the show. I'm all about that. Stick up for your guys, your teammates, being a team, those kinds of things that you preach in like high school and college, but you do it in the NFL and things are different. And the Chiefs have that kind of culture, which is why they win. Not saying that others don't and that others that don't always are going to win, but teams that win have that kind of culture. So it's great to see, and Peyton Hendershot earned a lot of admiration, I'm guessing, from his teammates, and something that when they're watching film afterwards or when he's walking and some of his teammates might not have known who he was or talked to him a whole lot before that play, afterwards, especially now that Roquan's talked about it and it's become something that's publicly out there, he's probably going to get a few fist bumps, a few head nods, and get to know his teammates a little bit better, because I'm sure that they appreciate that. This one fan, at least, appreciates that, and I know I'm not the only one out there. All right, moving on. Isaiah Pacheco finding the end zone. I thought Pacheco was great last night. He runs hard. All the things that we've come to love about Pacheco. There's the one play on the pass play that Mahomes hit him that was a big play that should have been a touchdown. But outside of that, he got his first rushing touchdown of the season. He was finishing off a 6-play, 81-yard drive with that 1-yard scoring rush to extend the Chiefs' lead to 20-10. And Pacheco finished the game with 15 carries for 45 yards with 1 touchdown, added 2 receptions for 33 yards. He now owns 13 career rushing touchdowns. So, yeah, Pacheco is what he is, and he's an energy giver. He does exactly what the Chiefs need him to do. There's been a lot of talk over the offseason about him getting better in the passing game, and not to say that one play means that he's not. That is not the easiest play in the world for a running back to make, but one that is starting running back for a team going to three-peat and win a Super Bowl. He's got to make that play, and I'm he knows that. But yeah, Pacheco, exactly what we come to expect from Isaiah Pacheco. Another player that it's been too long into the show to not have mentioned him already, but Chris Jones was the best player on the field for either team last night, in my opinion. And after tying for first in sacks on the team last season with 10.5, Chris Jones wasted no time in picking up where he left off on Thursday night. On the first defensive play of the second quarter, Jones sacked Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson and forced a fumble, which was recovered by defensive end Felix Anudike-Uzomah. And Jones now owns 76.5 career sacks, ranking 5th in team history, dating back to when sacks became an official statistic in 1982. Jones is just the 6th player in franchise history to record 50 or more sacks, and he already owns the franchise record for most sacks by a defensive tackle or nose tackle. He needs 2.5 sacks to pass linebacker Justin Houston for the 4th most career sacks in Chiefs history. Above Justin Houston, you have Neil Smith with 86.5. So right now, Chris Jones is 10 sacks shy of tying Neil Smith. And so a very good season from Chris, where he'd end up with 11.5, 12 sacks. He could end up in 3rd. Now, Tamba Ali is 2nd all-time in Chiefs history with 89.5 career sacks. So for those that are great at mental math, Chris Jones is 13 sacks shy of tying Tamba Ali for the 2nd most sacks in franchise history. So reason to bring it up, Chris would have to stay healthy and have to have a phenomenal season, much better season than he did last year, and getting 5 more sacks than he did last year. If he ended up with 15, 16 sacks, he could pass Tamba and end up 2nd in Chiefs history by the end of this season. Might be a little bit of a stretch, but Justin Houston next on the list to surpass with 2 more sacks. And just looking at these names, I mean, it's Derek Thomas, Neil Smith as the original purveyors of Chiefs Kingdom and Arrowhead lore, and all the reasons that Arrowhead is known how it is and idolized as a phenomenal place to go watch an NFL football game is because of what Neil Smith, Derek Thomas, that defense did back then in creating this Arrowhead mystique. And outside of that, those other 3 players, lucky for me, I got to cover them, and they've all played in the Andy Reid era. Obviously, Tamba and Justin a little bit before that, but they've all been playing at a time where we all know who they are, and they're all in the top 5 in Chiefs history, which is pretty cool. All right, staying on the defense, let's talk a little bit more about Chris Jones, because I said on the last 10 Things episode that we recorded middle of last week that I think and let me know in the comment section, or hit me up on social media if you're listening to the podcast audio after, because I'm curious how people feel about this. Right now, I believe there are 3 people on the Chiefs who are first ballot Hall of Famers. I don't think there's a question. Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid. First ballot Hall of Famers. I think there are 2 other guys that are in the conversation, or heading that direction. If their careers ended today, maybe in that conversation, but maybe not across it. Harrison Butker is one. And I think it's pretty awesome. Just the Justin Tucker stuff from last year with the warm-ups soured me on Justin Tucker and just kind of how he is. And so when he missed the field goal last night, I was standing in line at the concession and I started cheering like crazy. And the people around me kind of looked at me funny, like it was just a missed field goal. But I think the context of it being Justin Tucker and he's going up against Butker, who are the two best kickers in the NFL right now, along with Aubrey down in Dallas. But Chris Jones, I think with a dominant season where he's another defensive player of the year type season, didn't have to win it necessarily, but be in that conversation, be one of the most dominant players in the field every week like he was last night. And I think he solidifies himself in that conversation. Let me know how you feel about that or if you agree, but Butker and Chris Jones are the two with another great season that I think they could. So Charlie Rogers, I think they're going to make a special case, and Steve Spagnuolo is going to be the first coordinator to get in. Well, when it comes to pedigree and the resume to do it, he would be he'd be the best one to do that. So Bill Quantrill, I too cheered Tucker's missed field goal. I appreciate not being the only one that was in that case. So thank you. All right, let's stay on the defensive side as we go to number 8. And this was originally like 4 different sections, and I just kind of combined it all into one because I think I'm just going to list off the biggest defensive plays to me that were the biggest plays in the game. I thought about this during the game, and I remember thinking that's a bad decision. And the first one was a bad decision by the Baltimore Ravens. And John Harbaugh and that staff will know more about football than any of us ever will. But if you're going to go for it on 4th down and you're going to throw a little screen, and you're going to test the defensive back's ability to come up and make a tackle in the open field, Trent McDuffie's probably not the guy on the Chiefs defense that I'm going to test. And that'd be pretty obvious from the beginning of the play. Like, you targeted him, and I don't know the reasoning behind that in that moment. We know that John Harbaugh is going to be aggressive. We saw on the Isaiah Likely almost touchdown at the end of the game that they were going for 2. It's the only time in the game that I got a little nervous when I saw that. But ended up not mattering. But going back to the play, Trent McDuffie made the swift open field tackle on 4th and 3 after a 1-yard catch was made by Baltimore wide receiver Zay Flowers. McDuffie's solid defense at the Kansas City 49-yard line forced a turnover on downs with 9:44 left in the second quarter. And McDuffie made his presence known against the Ravens offense with 4 tackles, 3 of which were solo. It just felt like most of the Ravens offense was giving the ball to Derrick Henry for a 3-yard gain, Lamar scrambling, or them forcing the ball in some sort of way to Zay Flowers. I know Rashad Bateman made a couple of catches later in the game, but for a stretch there, it just felt like they were so predictable. And there wasn't a ton of creativity and just usage of the way they were doing things. I just wasn't overly impressed. And over his career, I've been very consistent going back to when I worked there at the Chiefs and we were playing the Ravens and making sure I didn't disrespect anybody the way I said it. But Lamar Jackson is always going to be one of the top 5 most electric quarterbacks in the NFL, but I do not trust his ability. We saw it the last series when he missed Zay Flowers wide open. That's the difference to me. That's the margin of error of being a top 5 quarterback or being somebody that would threaten to go out there and take Mahomes down. I just don't. You got to be able to complete and convert on 3rd and long 3, 4, 5 times in a game with your arm to win a game. Like, you can convert one and you can make a crazy cool play and you can scramble and you can maybe do it twice. But to beat the Chiefs, you're going to have to do it multiple times. And I've just not seen it throughout his career. And I've said this going back 7, 8 years, he's going to be an electric player. But eventually, when everybody's locked in a postseason game and every play matters that much more, can you make the 3 or 4 throws you need to consistently win? And maybe for one win, but to go through the playoffs and do that against 3 or 4 good teams, I haven't seen that from him, and nobody has, because he hadn't gotten across that hump yet. But we saw it kind of show itself again in the game last night where, again, Zay Flowers running wide open in the back of the end zone. He misses him. And then the touchdown is Isaiah Likely that was almost a touchdown, a little bit high. Thing that drives me crazy, and maybe people on social media are talking about it with Nick Bolton. There's been a lot of talk about Nick Bolton. We'll get to that in a minute with his coverage stuff. But the fact that Nick Bolton went for the ball instead of just pushing him out of bounds, it would not have been that close if he didn't jump high and go after him. Just push him out of bounds and the game's over. Hit him in the midsection, shove him out. and it won't be that close. So if he would have gotten both feet in bounds, I think we'd be talking a little bit more about that specific play. But again, it's a lot easier to see and say in slow motion when we're watching after the fact. But after a tough game, Nick Bolton's got to be pretty happy that Isaiah Likely has size 13 shoes instead of 12. And then it would have been a different game, and who knows what kind of two-point conversion play the Ravens has. The only reason I was nervous is that they have a play that they've been working on, that they love, that the Chiefs have never seen, that we're not prepared for, and our defense was exhausted, and those guys were tired. I think that's probably what was going on with Bolton. Just looked like him and a bunch of the other guys were just very, 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 very tired. It was hot. It was a little bit weird with the game starting a little bit later because of the rain that came through, but anyway, the McDuffie play was a huge one. And then to me, the biggest play of the game that isn't going to be talked about was with less than a minute to go in the second quarter, at the very end of the first half. It was Leo Chanel, who was all over the place last night. But he had a huge pass defensed on a third down in the red zone on I don't remember who it was, coming across the middle of the field. Wide open. It was 100% a touchdown if Leo Chanel did not bat the pass down. He got his hand up and batted the pass down. It was at the 7-yard line. He finished the game with 7 tackles, 3 of which were solo, and 2 passes defensed. But that one at the end of the first half was 100% going to be a touchdown. And when you win by 7, granted, things would have happened differently. But to me, that was the biggest play of the game. I think I put that out on social, and people reminded me that the Chris Jones strip sack that Felix Anudike-Uzomah, which is the other one on here, was another key defensive play for the Chiefs. They thought that was the biggest play of the game. That came at the Baltimore 14-yard line with 14:53 left to go in the second quarter. And then, later in the game, Felix Anudike-Uzomah also had a nice play out in space where he kind of blew it up from the outside and then chased down Zay Flowers, tackling him for a loss of 2. FAU finished the night with 1 solo tackle for loss and 1 fumble recovery, which is great to see. Again, player that's been discussed quite a bit by Chiefs fans this offseason, the former first-round pick from last year, working his way into the mix, we'll call it that way. Not an every down guy right now, and as a first-round defensive end, a year later, you expect him to be playing a little bit more, but if he can make impacts like that, I don't care how many snaps he's playing. If he's a NASCAR pass rush sub guy, it doesn't matter when he was drafted. It matters that he can provide value for this group of players on the roster right now and go out and win football games. And he helped him win a football game last night. So you got to be encouraged about that, if nothing else. And again, please let me know if you're watching this live, if you've got any questions or comments. Kathy Welch, I like to see Hendershot backing up Patrick Mahomes on the sideline. It is great to see. It's exactly right. That's why I got my little gnome here. It says, buy Hendershot stock. His teammates, going to love him. I don't know if that guy's going to get a coffee. I think they should do something for him. His teammates don't do something for him. Chiefs fans should do something for him because that's what we love to see. Guys backing up each other. Charlie Rogers, can we talk about how well Kingsley looked? I'm going to leave that for the KC Lab guys and kind of break it down. Watching it live, especially there, I'm not focused on Kingsley. I know he got beat a couple of times early in the game on a third down. He got beat for a sack, and his PFF scores, which I'll get to in a minute, were not pretty. But PFF, not the end-all, be-all. It is a tool to look at, to create discussion, and to kind of go back and watch. That's kind of how I look at it. I'm going to go back and rewatch this game. I'll look at the PFF scores and then go kind of, hey, what did they see that I wasn't watching live as far as how a guy played? But what we did see is that the offense didn't look like it didn't function. It did look like it functioned both in the running game, the passing game. Mahomes had some pressure, but you're going up against one of the best defenses in the league. The one storyline going into this game, to jump around here, that just reminded me that we talked about was Zach Orr, the new defensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens. Now that Martindale left, I don't know enough context, obviously, to know what was going on, but the timeout situation for the Ravens was a problem, that they used 2 timeouts really early in the second half. And it's not just that you're using timeouts early in the second half. It's that they used their first 2 timeouts of the second half, both on defense and both on first down. It wasn't a 3rd and 4 where they've got Xavier Worthy hidden as like the 3 spot, and all of a sudden, like, it's an alert, like, hey, there's something that could happen here. We need to talk about this and make sure we're on the same page. It was a first down at, pretty sure it was a midfield for both of them, or on the plus side. So, like, not a great communication, organizational start for the Ravens on defense. I thought it was one of the bigger things throughout the game, obviously. So let's go to the PFF scores now and kind of share where those are at. I know Joel runs our social media, put out the top 6 scores, but offensively, not a huge surprise. Patrick Mahomes, Rashee Rice, Creed Humphrey, and Noah Gray, who got the new contract. Congratulations to him on the new, I think it was $18 million over 3 years is what I saw reported, with $10 million guaranteed. Makes sense. Don't know how long Travis Kelce and what's going to be there. Now, he's a good special teams player. Seems like about a contract. Obviously, the 18 is probably max with incentives and all that. But $10 million guaranteed over 3 years is a solid special teams type contract. So congratulations to him. It's always great to have guys that know what's going on and can go out there and be where they need to be for Patrick Mahomes. And we saw Noah Gray do that a handful of times. He had the nice little screen in the red zone as well. But Joe Tooney, Xavier Worthy also ranked up there pretty high. And then on the other end of things, the guys that didn't grade out real well for the Chiefs last night, the last 2, Jared Wiley only had 11 snaps, but he was 16th out of 17. And then Kingsley Suamatia was ranked 17, dead last, according to PFF scores at a 48.9. His pass blocking score is 61.4, which isn't great, but it's kind of in the middle, higher than some other guys. Jawan Taylor was 53.7. Trey Smith was 50.2. So Kingsley, a little bit better in the pass block, but his run blocking score was not good. 37.3. The only person on the Chiefs offense that had a lower run blocking score was Rashee Rice at 31. So if I go back and watch, I'm going to watch Kingsley in the running game to see what PFF was paying attention to and see if it's not tipping the cap to the other guy because they're on scholarship too, as I think Marty used to say. But yeah, let's switch over to the defense. Chris, also not a surprise. Chris Jones finished the game with 6 pressures to lead the team, but had the highest grade of 82.8 for the Chiefs defense, followed by Leo Chanel, Trent McDuffie, Josh Williams, and Jalen Watson. So the fact that, again, I know lab guys have talked quite a bit about this, like who's the number 2 corner going to be, that Jalen Watson and Josh Williams both ranking in the top 5 according to those PFF scores. Jalen Watson playing 77 snaps for the Chiefs defense and Josh Williams playing 32. Obviously, Jalen Watson had a huge pass breakup down the sideline there, I believe, in the third quarter on a third down play that ended up proving to be one of the bigger plays in the game as well. So it was great to see Jalen Watson go out there and make play. Even Shamari Connor went out there and he missed some tackles, but he was in the mix again as a young player who you just want to see fly around and get some experience. It was great to see Brian Cook back out there as well. Justin Reed made some great plays for the Chiefs defense. So yeah, overall, got to be pretty happy. And then going as far as the top end of the Chiefs defense, especially with those corners and all the talk about, L'Jarius Sneed going and who's going to step in. Great sign for those guys, at least according to the PFF scores, to grade out the way that they did. And then on the other end of things, the bottom 2 graded players for the Chiefs defense against the Ravens, Malik Herring was ranked 16th. He only had 9 snaps that were played, but graded out as a 47.9. And then Derek Nottie only played 13 snaps, but he graded out at a 40, including a 23.1 grade on tackling, which was the lowest on the team. Only to Shamari Connor also had a pretty low tackling score with missed tackles. And according to PFF, Shamari Connor missed 4 tackles in that game. And again, that's a pretty subjective stat and way to track it. But that's where things stand according to PFF. And finally, the number 10 thing, and then I'll answer any questions or bring on any thoughts from anybody that's watching live. Again, I appreciate everybody hanging out. Anybody watching live, we're at the KCSN World Headquarters, our studio out here in Overland Park. Tucker's behind the glass, producing this and getting ready for Haley Lewis's episode of Chiefs News Daily, so make sure you check that out. But I do want to, on this last one, shout out the My First Game campaign, which the KCSN Foundation does in partnership with Tickets for Less. We activated this 2 years ago, something that we try to promote. We spend more time, setting these up and executing a lot of the things that we do at the foundation than we do talking about them. Thankfully, our friends over at Tickets for Less are putting together a little video package to explain a little bit about what that program has done over the last few years. But we were able to have 3 more kids get a chance to experience their first game at Arrowhead Stadium with partnership with the Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Kansas City. There's Aaron, Aking, and Jacoby were all able, kids from the Boys and Girls Club, they were all able to attend their first game at Arrowhead Stadium thanks to this partnership with Tickets for Less and the KCSN Foundation. Tyler Brown writes for our newsletter, meets them over the Tickets for Less VIP tailgate. We took them over to the team store, bought them some stuff, and all of that happens with money that's raised from the foundation, and the money that's raised from the golf tournament and different raffles that we do. And we actually have a raffle that is going on right now. We have a chance. You can buy raffle tickets for a chance to win a Patrick Mahomes autographed mini helmet, or you can win 2 tickets to any home Chiefs game, plus a one-night stay at the Westin Crown Center down there in Kansas City. Appreciate everybody for making that possible. But if you want to support the KCSN Foundation and things like our My First Game campaign and getting more kids the opportunity to go experience what many of us have gotten to do, I'm guessing multiple times, just go to Arrowhead and experience what that atmosphere is like, and giving that to more people in our community that couldn't maybe otherwise get that opportunity is one of my favorite things that we do here. And so shout out to Tyler Brown, shout out to Tickets for Less, and everyone who is a part of executing that. Maddie over at Tickets for Less has done some great work, and I'm really excited to see the video they put together that just shows how special that experience is for those kids. So shout out to them. And if you would like to buy any raffle tickets and support what we have going on, and again, chance to win a couple of Chiefs tickets or a Patrick Mahomes autographed mini helmet, you can buy the raffle tickets through our Venmo. They're $20 gets you 5 tickets, $40 gets you 15 tickets, and $40 will get you 40 tickets, I believe. But you can find the link in the description of this show. You can find it all over our social media. You can hit us up on Venmo or our Give Butter page to donate there. And again, we are a 501c3, so it is a tax-deductible donation. So we appreciate that. We appreciate everybody with the My First Game campaign that makes that possible. It's the good stuff, which is what we've kind of made the tagline be for our foundation, the different things that we do. So anybody who's coming out to the golf tournament on Saturday, it's going to be a good time. Hopefully we have some great weather. It's going to be a very, very good time. I'm looking through the comments right now, and I don't know what Tucker and you guys are talking about here in the comment section, but it's gotten super weird. But again, appreciate everybody for hanging out. We're going to go about 2 more minutes and answer any questions that anybody's got, but those are all of the 10 things that I've got for this game. Honorable mention, it's Harrison Butker. Talked about Justin Tucker's miss. Should talk about Harrison Butker starting the 2024 season much the same way that he has through most of his career. It was after he made that 32-yard field goal at the start of the second quarter. He then added a 31-yard field goal with 5:47 left in the second quarter to extend the Chiefs' lead to 13-7. Butker was perfect on field goals and extra points, finishing the night with 2 field goals made and 3 extra points for a total of 9 points. Again, as I mentioned earlier, Chris Jones has a big season. Harrison Butker has a big season. I think they enter that conversation for the Pro Football Hall of Fame whenever that time comes, especially if they win another Super Bowl. Talking about the key players and helping the Chiefs achieve something that had never been done in the history of the NFL. That is all those rewards and accolades are going to come at some point. Charlie Rogers, how about James Winchester, coming back from an injury to snap a perfect game? Listen, you're not going to find anybody who likes James Winchester more than I do. Phenomenal. Been a great player and just a good dude in general. So that was great. Any other question? I'm going to give about another 10 seconds. See if we've got another question from the chat room. But again, I appreciate everybody for hanging out and being a part of this. We're going to have content all weekend long here at KCSN. And 21 Questions is coming up with Tucker Franklin and Maddie Lang. The guy, Nick and Ryan from Amateur Hour are going to be recording as well. The Only Weird Games guys are going live. Haley Lewis has got her show with Chiefs News Daily, which we should note, mentioned this before, but Chiefs News Daily is now going YouTube only. I think maybe once a week on the Chiefs News Daily with the interview. We'll post that audio on the podcast, but outside of that, we're going to free up the audio channel so there's not quite as many shows posting because we know there's quite a bit of content that we've got here at KCSN, and we're just trying to keep you guys informed with different perspectives and different things to think about as the Chiefs, again, go on this quest for a three-peat. So we're going to say goodbye. We're going to say goodbye now. Appreciate everybody for hanging out. and listen to me ramble for 45 minutes and hopefully provide some stats and nuggets that you can use to make yourself look smarter to your friends. I'm going to spend the rest of this afternoon recording this. If you're listening to the audio, recorded this on Friday around midday, and I've got to go get some more stuff set up for our golf tournament. So if you're coming out to Sunflower Hills tomorrow, we look forward to having you. If you're listening to this or watching this and you've got nothing going on tomorrow and you want to go golfing at 1:30, we still have spots for, I'd say we could probably squeeze in 4 more teams if you're interested. The link's at the bottom. Hit us up if you want a team. We got to get all the carts set up and everything for the prizes and all the stuff. So if you're interested, let us know. If you're not able to make it, but you still want to support what we got going on, you can buy the raffle tickets for a chance to win the Patrick Mahomes signed mini helmet, which I think if you bought one of those things now, I think they're like $1,500 if you go to any of the memorabilia sites. But you can do that, and then also have the 2 tickets to any home Chiefs game. That includes a parking pass, and includes VIP passes to the Tickets for Less tailgate, and it includes the one-night stay at the Westin Crown Center. So if you're not from Kansas City, you can still bid for that, still have a chance to win that, and then you can tell me which game you want the 2 tickets to go to. It's got to be a regular season game, but you can tell me which tickets you want to go to at Arrowhead this season. Again, appreciate all you for hanging out. Hopefully you take something away from the show. And yeah, if you like the show, please leave us a review, and we appreciate it. And again, we appreciate everybody for supporting KC Sports Network, and we'll continue to bust our tails to bring you the best content that we possibly can. And yeah, document this run into 3-peat for you. So for everybody at KCSN, for Tucker, for Maddie, for Joel, for myself, appreciate you for hanging out. We'll see you next time.